The 5-Year Engagement is the new and surprisingly tender romantic comedy from co-writers Jason Segel and Nicholas Stoller. In this movie, which Stoller directs, we follow the ups and downs of a young couple after their engagement. Tom and Violet are played by Jason Segel and Emily Blunt, respectively, in their third film together. Aside from its hard R rating, what sets the 5-Year Engagement apart from other romantic comedies tonally is that since the couple is already engaged, the film isn't about professions of love, but how willing these two characters are to sacrifice for one another. After Tom proposes, life continues to get in the way of their engagement. Whether it's Violet's sister's pregnancy or her graduate degree uprooting their lives and transporting the couple to Michigan, fortune seems to continue to get in the way of the couple tying the knot. Despite hilarious gags from a strong comedic cast, there's a realistic nature to this story, unlike typical cliched romantic comedies. However, at a touch over 2 hours long, and with a predictable storyline, by the end, I was ready for the engagement to end. Ben, were you as tired of Tom and Violet as I was?
Not really, because the realism was kind of appreciated, but the realism also hindered the movie because, you know, when it resembles too much like real life, it's not you going to the movies and enjoying seeing a story, it's seeing real life on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whole lack of conflict was kind of what kept me from really engaging in it, at least at the beginning. You know, you go a full, I want to say like 20, 25 minutes into the movie where you don't even really have a problem yet, where they're just in love and trying to get married soon, and then, oh wait, there's a slight inconvenience. And that's, for most of this movie, that's sort of what I felt like. It wasn't them dealing with issues, it was them dealing with slight inconveniences.
Yeah,
and I didn't care.
There wasn't that big moment that set the hero in action,
but
you know.
I think at the same time, the way they paced that out, I think it gradually built up, and you could see it coming like most romantic comedies, but I thought the way they spread it out was a good way to invite the audience in to get a better look and prepare you more for what was to come.
Spread out the drama?
Right.
It was appreciated from a view of not having romantic comedy with all the cliches, and that's where the realism is appreciated. But at the same time, you like you said, with no conflict, there's one character who's kind of just conceding to the other character, and it's not really going anywhere. And while it's reflecting real life, it's not really working for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of the movie that you see these characters have things done to them.
Right.
And they're not doing a whole lot.
It's more reacting than the characters making decisions about their relationship. They're just reacting to another obstacle, how are we going to keep our relationship going. And as while these little bumps are there, those big decisions are kind of missing.
Yeah, which is, I think that's what really helps you to engage in stories like this. Is like, oh, what's he gonna do? But you knew exactly what they were gonna do. And so all the movie has left is to engage you with its humor. And to its credit, it really did that. I mean, there was a lot of really hilarious gags throughout this movie. For a movie that I wasn't so sold on, I laughed a lot more than I expected to.
Oh.
Definitely more than half of the movie was spent laughing.
I'm pretty sure I laughed at every single scene. Yeah. Which was mostly due to the actors. But the script was good. A lot of the jokes were there, but if it weren't for the actors, it certainly wouldn't have been as funny as it was.
The thing about this script, written by Segel and Stoller, it's different than their other ones because, you know, there's a lot of funny things going on, but the story isn't as strong. If you look at some of their other movies, they have strong story and strong comedy. Yeah. But this time, they didn't really knock it out of the park with the plot.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps the film from being something greater, is that, you know, you just don't, the love story isn't really that compelling, and then they give you these side stories of Jason Segel's an aspiring chef, and Emily Blunt is studying psychology, but both of those stories are really uninteresting, particularly the Emily Blunt-Violet storyline, which is the most cliched thing in the movie, I think. So, you know, if you're not really engaging in that, then it's just a bunch of jokes. And the jokes work. They totally work. Particularly, I mean, I thought basically everything Chris Pratt did was hilarious.
Alison Brie as well.
Alison Brie
the
was great.
scenes with Chris Pratt and Alison Brie.
Particularly.
Hysterical.
I mean, there was excellent use of those side characters when at times it felt like they were reaching to like just fill in the gaps in the film, and those going into those side characters, being hilarious was how they did it.
Are you wearing Chanel number 5, by chance?
I'm not wearing anything.
No way.
No.
That's just your smell, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. It's pretty weird.
I think between the Chris Pratt and Alison Brie characters, who are the brother and
It's not gonna
sister of
happen.
our main
Sorry.
couple, and then Jason Segel has his friends in Chris Parnell and Brian Posehn once they move to Michigan. You know, you get a lot of these really funny moments that really populate the trailers. You know, there's that whole white peonies line that's playing in most of the trailers.
What about the white peonies?
Oh, do you like white peonies?
Yeah.
And that's what's, you know, I mean, that's what's going to make the movie worth watching once. But I don't know if that's going to make, if it's enough to sell you on it on its own. You know, this feels very much like more of a rental, more of a watch it on TV, because it is really funny and there are things that are totally quotable in it, but it doesn't work for me.
I've always heard, though, that, I don't know if you have them, but black peonies are much bigger.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
It's probably one of the better date night movies out right now. If you want to take a girl to go see a romantic comedy, this would be the one to go see, because it's better than some of the other ones out. I mean, like, it was better than Wanderlust. What other romantic comedies came out this year that weren't that good? Like,
A lot.
there was a lot, exactly.
Everything.
It's a little long, and
That's the
yeah,
other thing.
we're
That
talking
is
about
something that bogs it down.
the actors. They can sustain it. They are funny enough to keep you interested. Like, I don't think there was ever a time where I was like, definitely, oh, when's this movie gonna end? But at a certain point, I was kind of like, this movie's kind of long.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned at the top of the show that this is Segel and Blunt's third movie together. And you can definitely tell that there's a lot of chemistry between these actors. In fact, most of them have worked together before I mean, this is a Judd Apatow produced film, so he tends to bring back the same types of people. So I just think you get a really great dynamic in this cast. And that's what sells those moments. But ultimately, like we said, if you're just not that invested in the story, if you don't worry over whether or not they're going to get together in the end, then what does it matter? You know, what is it? It's just a collection of jokes. So that's why for me it didn't end up adding up. I guess I'm wondering though, on the Pretentious Film Majors 5-star scale, the infamous Pretentious Film Majors 5-star scale, where does 5-year engagement land for you?
Well, for me, overall, the movie was very entertaining. I laughed a whole lot, and that made the experience great. So I'm going to give it a 3.
I would have to agree with Ben. Even though the story itself wasn't that strong, I think them loading it with the humor, I thought the humor worked very well, especially with the actors they chose. So I'd have to give this a 3. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2.5. It was definitely an actor's movie, and like I said, I laughed at every single scene, but I'm more of a story person, and the story just wasn't as strong as it could have been, I think.
Yeah, I'm also with you. I'm going to give it a 2.5. It's definitely enjoyable, and we all enjoyed it. But I just was looking for something a little more, and I could see this film as something that I, you know, end up liking when I watch it again on cable. But I don't really have any desire to see it again, and I think that's kind of a bad thing when you go with a movie that's that funny. You know, if you don't really have that desire to see it again.
What a cute little flower girl you'll be.
I'm Pocahontas.
Well, that wraps up our review of the 5-year engagement. Be sure to check out more Pretentious Film Majors by subscribing to our channel or clicking any of our other videos. You can also visit us on Facebook and Twitter. Toe puns are great.
Toe puns are so great.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totes.
What was the other one?
What was the other one?
Oh, car being towed. 'Cause you tow your car.
My car was towed.